Hi guys, it's Ben Heath from Lead Guru, and in this video, I'm going to talk about Facebook ad mistakes that you really want to avoid in 2021. The game has changed somewhat after iOS 14, so these mistakes are sort of specifically updated for post iOS 14 Facebook ad environment, which we're obviously in right now. So if you've seen previous mistakes videos or think you're avoiding the issues, you may want to go through this video and make sure that you're not making any big mistakes that could be really having a negative impact on your results. Before I get into them, just want to very quickly ask you to smash that like button, click that thumbs up button, that'd be much appreciated and help me out. And of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're new and haven't done so already. Okay, so I've got a little list of these alongside me. I think I've got 8 mistakes that I want to go through. A lot of them are very easy to avoid. A lot of them can make a big difference. So the first one is that if you have not verified your domain and configured your web events, you absolutely want to do so. So that's why the screen in front of you right now started in Events Manager within an ad account. This is just an example ad account that's hooked up to a sort of a test website that we have. And you actually want to come in here, you want to verify your domain, and then under aggregated event measurement, you want to make sure that you've got your web events configured, your prioritization web events configured. I'm not going to show you how to do that in this video. I've got other content about that. And if you want full detailed exactly how to cover all the iOS 14 stuff, you should check out my Facebook Ads Insiders course. I'll make sure I include a link to that course in the video description below, because I've got exactly how to do all of this sort of stuff. But mistake number 1 is not having your domain verified and not having your web events configured in aggregated event measurement. Very important. Okay, mistake number 2, and this is always, well, not always, but this has been true for a while now and is particularly true right now, is too small target audiences. So you can see, for example, I've got an ad set up here, an example ad set to demonstrate. It's targeting the UK, and immediately the potential reach is 50 million. So how small would you want to make that? Well, I absolutely do not want to be advertising to anything less than 250,000 people. Ideally, nothing less than 500,000 people in a country like the UK. Now, if you're advertising locally, that may not be possible. You're sort of exempt from this mistake. But if you have the option, but you're just choosing to target small specific audiences, particularly post iOS 14, that is not a good idea. And you absolutely want to be targeting larger audiences. If you've got an audience of 2 million, 3 million people, that's absolutely fine. Better to be too big than too small. So that's mistake number 2. Mistake number 3 is stop using, well, the mistake is to use complicated sales funnels. My recommendation would be to stop doing that. When Facebook advertising first came onto the scene, there was all sorts of really complex stuff that people set up, often just to sound smart, to be perfectly honest, where you'd have your target audience and you give them one thing to do, and they'd opt in, and then they'd get a specific piece of content, and then they'd get a webinar, and then they'd get a and it's like a 8, 9, 10 step sales funnel where they have to do A, then B, then C, then D in order to move on. Okay, that is not what you want to do. And for a lot of businesses, like this sort of setup, one conversion campaign. Now, I teach other strategies, and I've got a whole webinar around different types of strategies that you want to use for different business models. And I do recommend using content and email opt-ins and things like that as part of sales funnels. They're set up completely differently to what I just described, and they're much more interesting. So if you're interested in that, I recommend you, again, there's a link in the video description to a free webinar I've created called 3 Killer Facebook Ad Strategies to Double or More Your Revenue. Strongly recommend you check that out for strategies that we do use. But a lot of the time, we're going to use a direct to offer setup, which is one conversion campaign. Okay? Complicated sales funnels have to go, because they haven't been great for a while, but particularly post iOS 14, where we don't have as much visibility over the actions people take. If you're needing someone to take action A before they get advertised to take action B, before they get advertised to take action C, and so on, you've got so much drop off before you get anywhere near actually selling them anything. You're going to end up spending an absolute fortune to not get many sales. So complicated sales funnels, mistake number 3, get those gone. Now, mistake number 4 is something I see a lot of advertisers do once they start to see a bit of success. I'm going to just jump over to another tab and come into the ad level, and they basically stop testing. Let's say you've been experimenting for a while, things weren't quite working, and you got it, right? You found the targeting options that worked, you put an ad together, creative, image, headline, copy, it worked, right? It delivered results. And you just thought, great, and sort of sat back and enjoyed those results. But the thing is, it's not going to last. all ads fatigue, all audiences, provided you spend enough, get burnt out. You have to find ways to keep testing, keep adding in new elements, and not set on your laurels, because it's so much easier to have lots in the bank, as it were, ahead of time, like lots of different creative options to use, as opposed to waiting for things to really drop off and then trying to ramp things up. It could be a lot harder, and you can have a dead period in between. So strongly recommend that you keep testing, even if things are going well. You don't want to stop testing. That was mistake number 4. Facebook advertising mistake number 5 is optimizing for the wrong thing, okay? So if we just go back over here and we go to the campaign level, and there's basically a couple things that I want to talk about when it comes to optimizing for the wrong thing. The first is the wrong campaign objective. I don't really know how, given that, you know, me and plenty of other people have talked about this forever, but I still see tons of people using the wrong campaign objective. If you want purchases or leads via your website, you should be using the conversions objective, not traffic, not reach, not video views. People use all sorts of logic to talk themselves into using other stuff. Like, well, I'm only retargeting warm audiences, so I should use reach, therefore I'm going to reach more of them. Okay, the theory sounds good. Try it in practice. You will see that conversions wins. I don't generate enough conversion events per week, so I should use traffic instead. Theory sounds good. Try it in practice. You'll see that conversions wins. Right? So just use the objective that you absolutely want. If you want traffic because you're advertising an article or a blog post, fine, go with traffic. If you want video views because you want brand awareness, you just want people to watch this video of yours online, fine, go with brand awareness, go with video views. That's absolutely fine. Okay, but go for what you want. So that's the first part, is at the campaign level, and then of course is the ad set level. So perhaps some people they know they want purchases via their website, so they've gone with conversions, but then in here, they're advertising to add to cart or initiate checkout, something like that. No, go for purchases. Again, I've got more information on that, and there'll be a link in the video description below to a video sort of really breaking that down and providing more nuance than I'm going to here. But optimize for the thing you really want. Stop optimizing for the wrong thing. That's number 5. Okay, number 6 is you want to be very, very careful relying on website visitors for your retargeting audiences. Again, this is something that's much more prominent post iOS 14. We know that we have far less visibility over what people do once they interact with your Facebook or Instagram ad and go through to your website. So if they're on an iOS device and they've not opted in, very good chance that they will not be included in your retargeting audiences. You don't want to miss out on those people because we know retargeting is so effective. So if I scroll down to the relevant part in custom audiences here, so you may have just had, for example, website. I'm sure there'll be something created in this ad account. Yeah, you might have something like all website visitors. And you can literally see Facebook's popped up a warning saying the size of your website custom audiences may decrease because some people, it may not include some people using iOS 14.5 or later devices, which is exactly what I just said. So instead of just using website visitors, add some other custom audiences that you know are less affected by iOS 14. So that could be people who've engaged with your Facebook page. That could be people who've engaged with your Instagram account. And those are on-app sources. It could be an email list. So for example, we could pop in an email list in there. Something's been uploaded externally, not as affected. I'm not sure we've got a video view. Yeah, there we go. You could add in a video view custom audience. People have watched a video of yours on Facebook. These are not affected by iOS 14. They increase your overall retargeting audience size. And yeah, if you're relying on all website visitors or a variation of, I think you're in quite a bit of trouble. So all website visitors, it's perfectly fine to still keep targeting with your retargeting campaigns, but don't rely on web visitors. You need other custom audiences to add into your retargeting ad sets or retargeting campaigns, depending on how you've got it set up, okay? Mistake number 7 is to tinker too much, which is something I see happen all the time. You know, people will come in and they'll take a look at that campaign and they'll see the results and they go, oh, you know, I'll come into the ad set and I'll change the targeting options. I'll tinker with the age, the locations. I'll come into the ads. I didn't think that ad would work and the headline's not quite right. Let's delete the headline. And you just constantly, every day or two, if things aren't going well, you're making adjustments. Typically, I would say more at the ad set level, people do that than the ad, but they still do it at the ad, making adjustments, doing things here, doing things there. And it is such a I can so understand why people do it, but it's so counterproductive to your objectives. Now, we know that Facebook has this thing called the learning phase, right? So you go through the learning phase, you need to get to the other side of that, and then give whatever it is that you're testing a few days to find out how that thing performs. Like if you put a new ad into a campaign, you don't want to be assessing that later that day or the next morning and turning it off. You don't know how it performs yet. You haven't given it long enough. If you keep tinkering, you constantly keep everything in the learning phase and you jeopardize your results. So I really like to make adjustments and give it, if possible, 7 days before I assess results. So remember that a lot of Facebook's data is now modeled because of the lost data, but also because of the reporting delay that's been implemented. Don't forget about that. It might just take a bit of time for the results to come through. Very important that that's something that you're aware of. Don't over tinker. I mean, it's literally, I'm asking you to be lazier. You're going to see better results. Okay, Facebook advertising mistake number 8 is not something I can really show in a Facebook, well, it's not something I can show in a Facebook ad account. And that's delivering a poor customer experience. And I think that Facebook are really cracking down on this, and they, rightly so in my opinion, and they are surveying Facebook and Instagram users for, they'll ask you, what was your experience like with a certain advertiser? And a lot of drop shippers are running into issues with this because they don't provide a good customer experience. And if your feedback score from those people that, I bought a product from them, but it took 3 weeks to arrive, it wasn't very good when it got there, they didn't give me a refund. If people not comment, but if they submit feedback with that sort of stuff in and give you a low feedback score, Facebook will prevent your page from advertising. You will just be banned from advertising. Even if you're not fully banned, they sort of as a halfway measure can negatively impact your Facebook ad reach, your results. It's just not something you want to do. So that's the on Facebook stuff. You don't want to deliver a bad customer experience because Facebook are going to step in and go, we're not having you give Facebook advertisers a bad name and decrease the value of the platform. That's why Facebook do that, by the way, which is why I support it. But also it's just not good for your business. It's as Facebook advertising has gotten more competitive, in order to do well and stand out, you really want to have all the tools at your disposal. Some of those tools are things like word of mouth referrals. Well, you're not going to get that if you have a poor customer experience. You want repeat business. You're not going to get that if people have a poor customer experience. So very, very important that you really think about, how can I make sure that from start to finish, my customers are at least satisfied, ideally very happy. Okay, you don't want to let them down. That's mistake number 8. Right, let's run through the list, and then I've got something I want to quickly mention. So number 1 is not verifying your domain or configuring your web events in aggravated event measurement. Okay, you have to do that. That's mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 is targeting too small audiences. Mistake number 3 is using complicated sales funnels. Mistake number 4 is stopping testing, not continuing to test new ads, new creative, all that stuff. Mistake number 5 is optimizing for the wrong thing, whether that's the wrong objective, the wrong conversion event. Mistake number 6 is relying on website custom audiences for your retargeting. You need other retargeting audiences. Mistake number 7 is tinkering too much. You don't want to be making changes every day. And mistake number 8 is delivering a poor customer experience. Okay, so hopefully that's been useful. Before you go, I want to quickly talk about our Facebook advertising services. So my company, Lead Guru, is a Facebook ads agency, and we specialize in Facebook and Instagram advertising. So if that sounds like something that you would want help with, you would want your results taken to another level, we create, manage, optimize campaigns for our clients. We can certainly help with that. We do have a 3K minimum budget requirement, but if you meet that criteria, you can go ahead and book a free call with one of my team members. Just click on the link in the video description below, go through to our website, book a call with them. They can let you know how we work, pricing, all the questions that you're going to have, and we can see if we might end up working together, which would be awesome. If you found this video useful, please let me know in the comments. Got any questions in the comments? Please click that thumbs up button, that really helps me out, and subscribe to my channel. If you're new, I release Facebook advertising related content all the time, and if you're advertising on Facebook into that sort of stuff, I think you want to stay up to date with the latest news and developments, and I can certainly help you do that. Okay, thanks a lot, guys. Bye for now.